Welcome back. Today, we're going to learn about a common logical fallacy called the anecdotal evidence fallacy. Something you hear all the time, probably without even noticing it. So here's the big question, right? Can one person's story really prove something is true for everyone? I mean, stories can be powerful and it's easy to believe them. But when does a personal story become a weak argument? Okay, so first things first, what even is an anecdote? Super simple. It's very simple. An anecdote is a personal story or experience. It could be something that happened to you, a friend, or a family member. And this is where things get tricky. The fallacy happens when someone takes one personal story and uses it as proof that a much bigger claim is true. At the same time, they ignore a large amount of evidence that may show the opposite of the claim. So, what does this fallacy look like in everyday life? Let's look at a few examples. There's a good chance you've heard some of them before. The classic. My grandfather smoked a pack a day and lived to be 95, so smoking can't be that bad. We've all heard this one, right? It's a really compelling story for sure, but think about it. Does that one guy's experience just cancel out decades of scientific research? And boom, that's it, right there. That's the fallacy in action. You've got this one powerful emotional story on one side and a huge pile of scientific data on the other. The mistake is letting that single story feel heavier than all that data. Or how about this one? I never wear sunscreen. I was out in the sun all last summer and I didn't get burned. They are using one personal experience as proof that the warnings about sun damage do not apply to them. But that's a very big conclusion based on just one example. You can see the same mistake here. They assume that because it didn't happen to them, it can't happen to anyone. Because they had one lucky experience, they assume it must be true for everyone. That can be a dangerous way to think about risks. And okay, here's one more example. My friend totally blew off studying for the final and still got an A. So what's the point of studying? Seriously? One friend, one test. Is that really enough evidence to prove that studying is unnecessary? So, what's the real problem with this kind of thinking? Why isn't one personal story enough evidence? Let's take a closer look at the logic and see where it goes wrong. This shows the problem clearly. On one side, you have a single student's experience. On the other side, you have evidence from many students that studying usually improves grades. The mistake happens when someone uses one unusual example to argue against a well-established pattern, and that's the key idea. One personal story, no matter how interesting or memorable it is not enough evidence to create a general rule. An unusual example does not automatically prove that the general rule is wrong. All right. So let's wrap this up. What's the big takeaway for you? How can you actually use this to spot the fallacy when you see it out in the real world? Here's what you need to keep in mind. First, personal stories are great. They're powerful, but they just aren't proof of a universal truth. Second, and this is the big one, always ask yourself, okay, but what does the bigger picture show? What does the data say? Just asking that one question can save you from falling for so many bad arguments. And remember, a single exception doesn't just erase a general rule. So, I'll leave you with this. The next time you hear someone use a really compelling story as proof for something big, what are you going to ask? You'll know what to look for now. Stories are great for connecting with people, but looking at the broader evidence is what helps us make smarter decisions. Thank you for watching.
If you'd like more personalized feedback, writing support, and discussion sessions, they're available with me or with our selected tutors. All the details are here.